Charles Davis is an analyst at Fox Sports and NFL Network, and now he's here with us at TitansOnline.com. Charles, it's so good to have you back. I love having you here this time of year.
Thank you very much. I don't know how I got to get back here again. I'm glad that I did, and obviously your vote got overruled, so this worked out really well for me.
I'm pretty low on the totem pole. I want to talk to you a little bit about this Titans team, more specifically the Titans defense, and even more specifically, this Titans secondary. We're seeing so much change in the secondary from 2016 to 2017. Which new addition do you think is going to play the biggest role in 2017?
Well, you want me to narrow it down to one? Boy, you asked some tough stuff. Well, obviously, Mr. Ryan. When you start with Logan Ryan on the corner, and then you bring in Jonathan Cyprien at safety, you're talking about a tandem that's going to work very well together. You got a guy who's going to cover people on the outside, cover people in the slot, and Ryan. Cyprien is going to establish you in the run defense, as well as give you better coverage ability than I think what people think. So bringing those two in, phenomenal move. Then, of course, drafting Adoree Jackson and watching LaShawn Sims continue to develop, I think it's got the makings of a secondary that has some excitement about it, some ball hawk ability, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Kevin Byard, because I loved him coming out of college, got acclimated last year. I think he's ready to really blossom in 2017.
Another new addition to this Titans defense is Erik Walden. He's coming off of a career-best 11 sacks season. What do you think he can bring to this linebacking group?
He's going to bring that pass rush ability that you just talked about, but he's going to bring a nastiness to it that I say with all due respect and almost with reverence, because that's what you want out of a linebacker. You remember when we were all together at the Combine and Reuben Foster's thing from Alabama blew up because he snapped at someone at the hospital? I remember that night, because he got sent home and all that. I remember that night talking to like 3 different scouts, and they all went, yeah, you want a linebacker who has a short fuse. Yeah, that's a real problem for us. In other words, you need that guy who can flip the switch when he steps over the line and pop people, and Erik Walden has that in droves. So his addition there, adding that extra bit of toughness, that extra bit of excitement, that extra bit of, hey, let's go plant some people in the ground, there's nothing wrong with that.
As far as the defensive line, for the most part, they're staying together. How do you think that consistency in this scheme with these coaches, with the guys that have been next to them, is going to help this team in year 2?
Well, when you mention consistency, that's exactly what everyone's looking for. But you can have consistency with bad teams as well. They can be consistently horrible all the way through. In this case, it's a consistency where they're building and getting better. You got a Jarrell Casey, who's a perennial Pro Bowler, just got a brand new contract, wanted to be here. Gets his friend Sylvester Williams coming over from Denver, who's played in 2 Super Bowls and wants to get back to another one. When you start to look at what they're doing across the front, Austin Johnson making those gains that people expected maybe from him last year. Carl Klug coming back off of the Achilles. You talk about guys who understand their assignments, have pride in what they do, and offer you some consistent, outstanding play, especially Jarrell Casey leading everyone up front.
Overall on this Titans team, are there any storylines that you're watching to see how they progress through training camp?
The big one with training camp, number one, we always watch injuries. Can everyone hold in there and not have any issues with that? But for me, it's watching how this team takes care of business, because it's a team that has different eyes on it than it's had in recent years. The eyes now are, hey, this Tennessee team is really good. Some people are saying that they're good enough to win the division. Others are saying they're good enough to progress in the playoffs. Others are saying this team is going to be around for a while. Can they handle all those expectations? I think that they're a team that's built well for that. When you hear the message coming from Mike Mularkey, the head coach, from John Robinson, the GM, heck, from Mrs. Strunk right at the top in the front office, control what you can control. Just go out and take care of business. Get better each day. All those things, I think it's a team that is listening to that and heeding that message. And if so, look out.